What happens when a picture-perfect influencer couple hides a secret dark enough to destroy them? This is the story of a woman who exposed their forbidden fetish scam live on camera, and paid with her life, as thousands watched the unthinkable unfold in real time. Ayla Rowan and her husband, Dean Rowan, built an online world that looked flawless to anyone watching. Their social media pages shimmered with staged perfection, each post carefully timed to show them living a life most people only dreamed about. They posed near infinity pools, shared clips of expensive meals, and posted motivational captions that made their marriage seem unbreakable. Followers praised their discipline, their ambition, and their chemistry, unaware that every moment was crafted with precision rather than genuine happiness. Behind the camera, their reality felt different. Ayla worked constantly to maintain the appearance of confidence, even when she felt overwhelmed by pressure. Dean pushed her harder each day, convinced that consistent exposure was the only way to stay relevant and keep their followers engaged. Their financial situation was far from stable, and every luxury displayed online was rented, borrowed, or charged to credit they struggled to pay off. Their home, though tidy in photos, was filled with stress. Messages from brands demanding results, bills they could not cover, and constant competition with other influencers created an atmosphere of silent tension. Ayla began noticing how distant Dean was becoming, especially when their page started losing engagement. The decreasing numbers made him anxious, and he blamed the algorithm, the audience, and sometimes even Ayla herself. Despite everything, they continued uploading polished content. Their followers believed they were witnessing a love story flourishing under the spotlight. In truth, the couple was bound together not by affection but by fear of losing the digital empire they had worked so hard to build. Every picture hid secrets, and every caption masked a growing sense of instability that neither of them dared to confront. What began as a small attempt to make extra income slowly grew into something far more complicated than Ayla ever expected. At first, she posted simple modeling shots on a private subscription page, hoping to earn enough to cover their overdue bills. The response was immediate, and new subscribers joined each week. Dean noticed the money coming in and quickly stepped in to take control, insisting that they could turn this into a real business if they pushed harder. Ayla hesitated, but their financial troubles left her with little room to argue. Dean created multiple fake personas to message clients, pretending to be Ayla's assistant, manager, or even Ayla herself when necessary. He encouraged buyers to pay extra for personalized fantasies and custom requests. What originated as harmless admiration gradually shifted into a niche fetish market that brought in significantly larger payments. Dean negotiated prices, managed schedules, and tracked every transaction, treating the operation as if it were a corporate enterprise. Ayla felt trapped between the success and the discomfort of the content she produced. She never intended to build a world of illusions for strangers, yet Dean pushed for more extreme material to keep high-paying clients satisfied. Some buyers became emotionally attached, believing Ayla shared genuine affection with them. Dean exploited their vulnerability to increase profits, telling them they were special or exclusive. The more they earned, the faster the risks multiplied. Their inbox filled with obsessive messages, demanding attention at all hours. Dean saw opportunity in every interaction. Ayla saw danger. What once seemed like an easy solution to financial stress had grown into a secret industry powered by manipulation, pressure, and invisible threats neither of them fully understood. Among the growing list of buyers, one anonymous client began standing out from the rest. He used a generic username, paid through encrypted methods, and never shared personal details, yet his payments were far larger than anything Ayla had ever seen. At first, she assumed he was simply a wealthy admirer, but his requests soon revealed an unusual level of emotional investment. He demanded long descriptions, private attention, and exclusive content that made him believe he was the only one Ayla cared about. Dean immediately recognized the potential for profit and encouraged Ayla to prioritize this buyer above all others. Dean began crafting elaborate fantasies for the client, pretending to be Ayla expressing deep affection. Money poured in quickly, and the anonymous client became convinced he shared a meaningful bond with her. His obsession grew with every message. He monitored Ayla's public posts, questioned any change in her schedule, and reacted angrily whenever she delayed responding. Dean fed these emotions intentionally, believing that the stronger the attachment, the more money they would receive. To maintain control, Dean extended the illusion by promising the client secret updates and personalized attention. The buyer responded with even larger payments, accompanied by increasingly unstable messages. Ayla felt uneasy with the intensity, sensing that the emotional manipulation was pushing the situation into dangerous territory. Dean dismissed her concerns, claiming that their survival depended on keeping the client satisfied. When payments slowed, Dean panicked. He feared the client had uncovered their deception. Their dependence on him tightened the pressure, signaling danger ahead. Ayla sensed the shift. Ayla's emotional exhaustion reached a breaking point as the fetish operation consumed nearly every moment of her day. She woke up to messages from strangers who believed they shared intimate connections with her, each demanding personal attention she never wanted to give. The constant pressure to satisfy expectations made her feel disconnected from herself, as if the online persona she performed had taken full control of her life. She struggled to recognize who she was outside the fantasies Dean curated for profit. Guilt began to settle heavily on her. She realized their operation wasn't just dishonest, it was harmful. Many of the clients were lonely, vulnerable individuals searching for affection, and she felt responsible for misleading them. Dean treated each of them like assets, but Ayla saw the desperation hidden in their messages. She started imagining how betrayed they would feel once the truth came out, and the thought weighed on her constantly. As her discomfort grew, she quietly explored ways to end the entire business. She attempted to slow the posting schedule, reduce custom requests, and ignore messages for longer periods, hoping the operation would naturally die down. Dean noticed immediately and accused her of ruining everything they had built. His reaction convinced her that he would never willingly let the scheme end. Realizing she needed a drastic approach, Ayla decided to reveal the truth publicly. She believed that exposing the entire scam during an upcoming live stream would force Dean to stop, remove him from control, and free her from the emotional prison she had been living in. She planned it secretly, unaware of the danger she was creating by underestimating Dean's growing instability. Dean's behavior shifted from frustration to something far more unsettling as he sensed changes in Ayla's routine. He noticed her spending less time responding to clients, delaying content creation, and avoiding conversations about future plans. Each small change fed his suspicion. He began checking her phone when she wasn't looking, scrolling through her messages, and analyzing her browsing history for anything he considered a threat. The more he monitored, the more convinced he became that Ayla was hiding something from him. Their financial situation added fuel to his paranoia. Bills continued piling up, and the steady flow of money from the fetish operation had become their only reliable income. Dean believed that Ayla's reluctance to produce content was an attempt to sabotage their success. When the anonymous client suddenly sent a series of angry, threatening messages about possible fraud, Dean's anxiety escalated into near panic. He convinced himself that Ayla had caused the situation by being careless. His resentment deepened each day. He felt powerless watching their online empire risk collapse, and he blamed Ayla entirely. He spent hours pacing their home, replaying past interactions, twisting innocent moments into imagined betrayals. The more he thought about it, the more he believed she planned to leave him or expose him. Dean's need for control intensified. He began tracking her movements inside their own home, questioning how long she spent in each room, and interpreting her silence as defiance. Every action Ayla took seemed suspicious to him. His fear of losing both their income and his influence over her slowly turned into anger. That anger hardened into a dangerous certainty that Ayla was preparing to destroy everything they had built, including him. Ayla prepared for the live stream with a quiet determination that masked her fear. She selected a simple backdrop, adjusted the lighting, and rehearsed the words she planned to share. For the first time in months, she intended to speak honestly. Her goal was not to create drama or attract more followers but to free herself from the suffocating pressure of the fetish scam. She believed that telling the truth in front of thousands would make it impossible for Dean to manipulate or silence her afterward. Without informing him, she scheduled the live stream for a time when she knew engagement would be high. The announcement alone drew immediate attention from her audience. Followers speculated about the upcoming confession, assuming it involved a brand collaboration, health update, or emotional story. Ayla stayed focused, avoiding social media and concentrating only on the message she intended to deliver. When the live stream began, viewers flooded in rapidly. Ayla appeared calm, though her hands trembled slightly outside the camera's frame. She started by acknowledging her followers' support before shifting to the truth she had been carrying. She revealed that her private content was part of a constructed operation created out of financial desperation. She explained how clients were led to believe in exclusive connections that never existed and how the environment had grown toxic and manipulative. Although she avoided naming Dean directly, her words made his involvement undeniable. Comments poured across the screen as followers expressed shock, concern, and disbelief. Meanwhile, in the background of the room, a faint movement went unnoticed by the viewers. The tension grew with each sentence she delivered, unaware that her confession was triggering something far more dangerous than she anticipated. The live stream continued to climb in viewership as Ayla pushed forward with her confession. Her voice grew steadier with every truth she revealed, unaware that her words were echoing through the house loud enough for Dean to hear. He had been in another room, already suspicious of her recent behavior, and the sound of her broadcast drew him toward the doorway. When he recognized what she was confessing, something inside him snapped with a force he could no longer contain. Viewers watched Ayla glance briefly off-camera, unaware that the movement she noticed was Dean entering the room with quick, heavy steps. At first, many assumed it was part of the live stream's theme, a dramatic appearance to match the emotional tone. The lighting, the angle, and the rising tension created the illusion of a staged moment rather than a real one. Ayla continued speaking, but her expression shifted as she realized the danger she was standing in. Dean approached with a rage that had been building for months. The betrayal he imagined, combined with fear of exposure and loss of control, created a violent impulse he no longer tried to restrain. The camera captured his shadow stretching across the wall as he closed in. Viewers typed confused messages, unsure whether they were witnessing a scripted performance. The moment turned deadly in seconds. Dean's attack happened suddenly, shocking even Ayla, who tried desperately to move away but had no chance to escape. The live stream remained active as she collapsed, the screen filling with frantic comments from thousands of horrified viewers. Dean fled the room immediately afterward, leaving the camera broadcasting the aftermath until authorities arrived. News of the live stream spread across social platforms within minutes, turning Ayla's final moments into one of the most widely circulated videos of the year. Clips appeared on timelines, reposted by shocked viewers who struggled to process what they had witnessed. Major news outlets reported the incident before authorities had even removed the equipment from the scene. The public reacted with a mix of disbelief, grief, and anger as the reality settled that thousands had unknowingly watched a crime unfold in real time. Investigators immediately secured the video as critical evidence. They analyzed the live stream frame by frame, focusing on Dean's movements, Ayla's positioning, and the timeline leading to the attack. Digital forensics teams examined the couple's online accounts, financial transactions, and message histories to understand the scale of the fetish scam Ayla had described. What they uncovered revealed a sophisticated network of manipulated clients, staged fantasies, and large payments funneled through various accounts controlled by Dean. Public interest grew rapidly as details surfaced. Commentators across platforms debated the pressures of influencer culture and the dangerous extreme some individuals reached for income and online validation. Ayla's story shifted from a shocking live stream tragedy to a broader cautionary example of how digital personas can trap people in harmful cycles. Her family released a statement mourning her loss while urging viewers not to share the video further. Advocacy groups joined the conversation, highlighting the emotional vulnerability of individuals exploited in online spaces. As the investigation expanded, authorities discovered patterns of threatening behavior, financial coercion, and emotional instability that painted a troubling picture of Dean's role behind the scenes. Ayla's confession, intended to free her, instead exposed an entire hidden world to the nation. Dean fled the moment he realized the live stream had captured everything. Panic drove his decisions as he rushed through the house, grabbing cash, a few clothes, and anything he believed could help him disappear. He avoided major roads and used backstreets to leave the neighborhood before police swarmed the area. His mind raced with fractured thoughts, shifting between fear of capture and anger at Ayla for revealing the scam. Each mile he put between himself and their home felt temporary, as though the world was closing in on him regardless of where he went. He checked into low-cost motels using fake names, paying only in cash and covering cameras in the rooms with towels. Whenever he ventured out, he wore hats or hooded jackets to hide his face. Despite these efforts, his paranoia grew. Social media feeds were already flooded with his image, and amateur digital investigators were tracking possible sightings. People posted tips online, analyzing shadows, backgrounds, and reflections from the live stream to pinpoint where he might go next. The anonymous client added another layer of danger. Enraged by the exposure of the scam, he publicly posted cryptic messages implying he had resources to locate Dean before law enforcement did. These updates spread rapidly, increasing public fascination with the unfolding manhunt. Dean attempted to move across state lines, believing he could blend into a larger city where no one would recognize him. But surveillance cameras along highways picked up his vehicle, triggering alerts in multiple jurisdictions. Authorities coordinated quickly, blocking potential escape routes. When officers finally located the car at a rural gas station, Dean was exhausted, paranoid, and out of options. His attempt to vanish had only tightened the net around him. Dean's arrest brought a swift end to the nationwide manhunt, but it was only the beginning of the legal aftermath. Investigators presented overwhelming evidence, much of it taken directly from Ayla's live stream. The footage left no room for denial. Confronted with the reality that thousands had witnessed the crime, Dean's confidence collapsed. During questioning, he shifted between anger, regret, and attempts to justify his actions, but each explanation unraveled under scrutiny. The court prepared for a high-profile case that drew intense public interest, with spectators eager to see accountability for the tragedy that had unfolded before their eyes. Prosecutors detailed the couple's online activities, revealing extensive financial manipulation, emotional exploitation, and the escalating instability that led to Ayla's death. Testimonies from digital forensic experts, former subscribers, and mental health professionals built a comprehensive timeline showing how desperation, secrecy, and obsession created a lethal combination. The jury deliberated for only a short time before finding Dean guilty on multiple charges. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never walk free again. In the months that followed, the digital footprints of Ayla's final live stream lingered across the internet. Authorities worked tirelessly to remove unauthorized uploads, but fragments continued circulating despite repeated warnings. Her family focused on preserving her memory beyond the tragedy, establishing a foundation to support individuals affected by online exploitation, manipulation, and harmful digital pressures. Ayla's story became a case study in documentaries, classrooms, and online safety campaigns. Viewers reflected on the hidden dangers behind perfectly curated lives and the consequences of ignoring emotional distress. The live stream that exposed the truth also became a reminder that digital worlds often conceal realities far darker than their polished surfaces suggest.